The West has drawn us in for the past 3 seasons, but this year was our first time to truly winter here. One thing we've definitely learned, dust and wind are just part of the experience. There's no debate about whether spring has arrived like a lion or a lamb. It has roared in. After spending the first 2 months in southern Arizona, we decided to venture further west to Palm Springs. The drive gave us a first-hand look at what many in the Southwest face this time of year, especially on the road. Dust storms can arise suddenly and with little warning, often leading to dangerous conditions. With our Airstream purchase, we received a free year trial membership to 1,000 Trails, so we figured Palm Springs was the perfect place to give it a try. The park greeted us with intense blowing sand, making setup a challenge, but we managed to get settled. That was just the beginning of some of the other issues that we encountered. Did 1,000 Trails fail? Well, let's find out. We're Pam and Ken of TheRoadSMITHS.
With all of the wind and dust we encountered in Arizona, one of the nice parts about the Val Vista RV resort was you can wash your rig, so we decided to do it the day we were leaving. As it turned out, that was a giant waste of time. Better get ready to hold your breath. Special.
And unfortunately, I don't think the driver of one of those trucks, it didn't look good.
Yeah, that's going to create a fire. Backup coming I-10. It's pretty windy. This could be the windiest thing we've ever driven in, at least with this rig. Just going slow, 60 miles an hour, but that was crazy. We learned later that 6 people had lost their lives in this accident. It's just a reminder how dangerous these roads could be in these dusty and windy conditions. Well, I'm just stopping here at Love's to get gas. We're just kind of topping off. We're just east of Quartzsite. I'm sorry, just west of Quartzsite. And we really didn't need that much fuel. The reason I'm doing it here is because fuel is like $1.10 a gallon less in it's near Quartzsite than it is when we cross into California. And that's ridiculous.
As we approached the Coachella Valley, we could see that there was another dust storm ahead, and it almost looked apocalyptic. Welcome to Palm Springs. Okay, first let me say, forgive my looks. I've been sick I was in bed for like all day yesterday and feel a little better today, thankfully, because today was a travel day. But anyway, so I wanted to show you guys, this is our first experience with 1,000 Trails. And I'm not sure. A little too early to judge, I guess, but we'll see.
We wanted beachfront property, and we got it. Well, we got the sand anyway.
Well, this is crazy because it's basically a sandstorm. What? Oh, he's talking here. Basically, it's a sandstorm. I feel it in my teeth. It's in my eyes. And it's probably about, 15 degrees or more cooler than when we left Phoenix. So I'm freezing right now. I gotta go in and get a sweatshirt. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Here comes the wind.
I don't think that's gonna work.
Well, good morning from Palm Springs, or should I say Iraq? I don't know, because it was crazy last night. Tried to get a little bit more video, but it just, the wind was so bad. It was getting in our eyes and our nose and our mouth and everything else, and the wind just blew all night last night. Let me just kind of show you what I'm dealing with. I've never seen this before, but just I'm started using the blower to get some of this off. But look at this. It's just a layer of sand everywhere, and I'm afraid to turn the ACs on. It's getting a little warm because I know there's just a bunch of sand up there, and I don't want to do anything with the ACs, so I'm going to have to get a ladder out and try and get up there and clean this a little bit. But that sand was, that wind was crazy, and it's supposed to be crazy again today. Right now it's calm, so we're trying to get some of the sand, and it's just everywhere. I mean, it's even in the, we'd opened the door just a little bit to get in, and we found a bunch of sand inside. So it is absolutely crazy here. And like I said, it's supposed to get, I think, up to 36 miles an hour later today. So we're trying to take this opportunity now to get some of the dust off before we get covered with dust. So let me get back to this. Well, it's morning 2 here of our first experience at 1,000 Trails. The wind has died down, which is great, and we actually moved to a different site yesterday. This is a much nicer site when we're faced a different way, so the sun is not beating down on our campsite the way it was at in Mesa. So we get shade in our campsite, which is good, and we get a little bit of concrete here as opposed to being just pure sand. And the fact that the wind died down is great, so we don't have the dust as much. Now, it may not stay that way. It's a little breezy this morning, but we had another issue when we got here. So for the first time in 4 years, our surge protector popped. And I never had that before. We've had, low voltage issues, or we've had, open ground issues, and I think that's really only happened once, and that was our first year in upstate New York at a campground in the Finger Lakes. But this one popped, and I think unfortunately it's damaged our used EMS. Now, luckily, this is one that has the replaceable surge protector, so we have that on order. But when I looked at the power on the pedestal, one leg was over 130 volts and one leg was 123. So talked to the people at the park, and they're going to have an electrician come and look at it today, but unfortunately we may have to move again if they don't get it fixed. So I'm going to go measure the pedestal with a voltmeter and just see if that's changed. So what we had to do is we basically had to go on 30 amp last night just to make sure that we had some power. So let's go check out the pedestal and see what we come up with. And yeah, it's 128 plus volts on that leg. I still don't know why the surge protector popped at 128 volts, but my guess is, and this is just my guess, is we did have the ACs running, and we were cooking something in a convection oven, and so that's still within the range of realm of 50 amp. And so my guess is they have a bad transformer in there that is, instead of serving up more current to get the wattage that we needed, it served up more voltage than we needed, and that's what popped the surge protector. So we have really two choices: wait for an electrician to come out and take a look at it, or to move sites yet again. Again, not being new to 1,000 Trails, my guess is they're going to say, oh, just go pick another site, not realizing what kind of a hassle that is. We're going to go back up to the office this morning, show them what we just saw, and hopefully we can get an electrician out here this morning and take a look at it. Well, in continuance of the 1,000 fails, so they came out and fixed the power yesterday. So what they were telling me was that it was a bad breaker in one of the pedestals, and that was causing a low voltage situation with a draw, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because we were showing that we were getting over voltage on it. And So the alarm that came on they used was an E2 for over voltage or low voltage and at a range, and then the E9 code shows that the surge protector has been used up. Now the good news about this use 50 amp EPO is that you can replace the surge module without replacing the whole surge protector. So I ordered that from Amazon. Now Use is actually going to send me another one because they do that, a one-time warranty. They will send one to you, so it'll be good to have a spare in case it happens again. But you know, clearly this is the first time in 4 years that we've ever had a surge protector situation happen. So I am going to replace that so we can get back on 50 amp and feel good about it. So let's get started with this. As you watch me try and repair the used Watchdog EMS, after I opened up the case, I realized I had ordered the wrong part from Amazon. Apparently it's so new they don't carry it yet, but Use is going to send me one. I'll install that at a later time.
While the Thousand Trails Park in Palm Springs could use a little TLC, it's fairly convenient to a number of very cool things. Joshua Tree National Park, Big Bear Mountain and Lake, the Salton Sea, and the quaint little town of Idlewild. Be on the lookout for upcoming videos of those places and more.
So I thought while I'm taking Meka for a walk here around this park, we'll kind of give you a little bit of a glimpse as to what this park is about. This is, as we said earlier, this is our first Thousand Trail stay. And it started off a little dicey, hence the title, Thousand Fails. And, you know, but to be honest with you, it's actually a pretty nice park, other than the sand. But I'm going to show you a couple things around it. And it really is very convenient to a bunch of places. I would say after being here for now, I guess about a week and a day, we're going to leave early. Just to kind of get our schedule back in order here. It's really not a bad park at all. I mean, it really, like I said, it's convenient. The views are really kind of, you know, really nice. I mean, you've got the San Jacinto Mountains, you've got Big Bear. You can see from the campground. But man, it's like being at the beach because you have all these palm trees that you can see here. But you got a ton of sand, and that's really kind of the bad part. And you got a train, and that goes by probably 6 or 7 or 8 times a day, seems like. So let's walk around and see some of the amenities. But I would say after staying here, it's really not a bad park at all, other than the sand. I just wish they would do something. I did talk to somebody in the office yesterday that was a Thousand Trails specialist, and they said there are plans to I guess bring some gravel in at some point in time, because if they do that, yeah, it'd really be spectacular. So let's, like I said, let's go check out some of the other amenities. Well, as you can see, that's a game from a bygone era. We haven't seen anybody out here playing horseshoes or heard anybody playing horseshoes. And by the look of the sand, nobody's played horseshoes here for a while. But, you know, good to have that. I'm sure they'll probably turn that into something more modern, more useful here in the future. And while we have those big industrial garage-looking buildings behind us, we really haven't heard any noise come from there. They've got a number of cabins in the front and then back here as well. And I'm not sure what the rental scenario is, if you have to be Thousand Trails members to rent those, or if that's open to anybody, but they look quite nice, actually. Now, this is one of those things that just makes you go, what the heck? It's kind of a head scratcher. The park is really broken up into 2 parts. You've got your pull-throughs, like over here behind me. And I'm at the northwest end of the park, by the way, which is probably, if you are going to stay here, not a bad place to be during the wind, because you do get a break. The wind is predominantly from the northwest, and so I think you get shielded here with these big trees. You can kind of see them behind me like that. But yeah, this is a head scratcher because all the pull-throughs are 30 amp only. The back ends where we are 50 amp. And that is just completely inverse to what most parks typically have, because these pull-throughs are quite big. I'd say they're probably about 60 feet or so long, maybe a little bit longer in some of them. But yeah, this is 30 amp only on the pull-throughs. and 50 amp service and 30 amp service, of course, on the back ends, which are not small sites, but not as big as the pull-throughs. So one of the things you'll have to contend with when you're here is I-10 road noise. So you can see behind me, there's two things. One is a service road right here, the frontage road, and then behind it is actually I-10 itself. And so you do hear a good bit of road noise throughout the day. It is a little muffled, especially where we are. And then right behind those trees in the back is where the railroad is. And like I said, it's a very active railroad, probably, I don't know, 4 to 6 times a day. I've kind of lost count. You sort of become, immune to it just based on the many times you hear it. It's not very loud. It's just kind of a low rumble. No train horns so far, which is good. They've got plenty of overflow parking. If your rig and your truck is too big to fit into one of the sites. So I would say there's probably 15 or so, maybe 20 sites here, and really haven't seen an issue with trucks and RVs fitting into sites. And there's some pretty big rigs here, some pretty big fifth wheels. So as you can see, it doesn't say welcome to one of the 2 dog parks. It says welcome to our dog park. R is not capitalized, so I guess we're not trying to accentuate that. So yeah, not the best in there. So I guess if your dog wants to go to the beach, it kind of gives them that feel. It just makes picking up after them a little bit more complicated. And if you can see behind me, this is the grassy area for the dogs as well. Sorry about that, Meka. They do have dog bags. This one actually has some in it. The one in the dog park we've been going to, the sandy one, I don't think they've had any in it since we've been here. And you can see this one of these sites over here, again, you know, full grass over here, and it would have been awesome for all the sites to be like that. So as you can see, they got a couple of pickleball courts. We've passed by a couple of times. People are playing. It's not like a, you know, they don't do like a community league or something like that when people are here. But and once again, Pam and I have our pickleball stuff, and we haven't played. So all around the perimeter, mostly on the 50 amp side, is really kind of the, I don't want to say the premium sites, but they are premium sites. Some of these are longer term people, and I guess probably higher class of Thousand Trails membership. And there's even people here that are full-time. And then some not even on that side. It's kind of a head scratcher. You got a site right here, which is all concrete. So what happened to the rest of the concrete in like the site next to it? It's definitely a reasonable pool for what ostensibly has been free for us. And I know it's not free for people that have the membership, but yeah, it's a nice pool. And I think, maybe I said this before, but this really could be a very nice park. Now, you do see a lot of that here. In fact, the site to our campsite, on our campsite next to us, has no power. The site to our driver's side has no power. Now, we had power, but that brings me to the rest of the story. So let's talk power here for a little bit. You saw when we came in, and the wind and the sand and everything just made for not a great start. And we thought, okay, well, the wind did die down. And quite frankly, the past couple of days, the wind has been way down. It's magical because it just so happens to be when the tennis tournament, the pro tennis tournament, was starting here in Indian Wells, that the wind magically died down. So maybe they've got some pull here. So the power issue, and I don't know if this is like gremlins or whatnot. And this probably has nothing to do with the park, but maybe more gremlins. And that is, I went to take my Blue Eddy out yesterday because we were planning on doing a little bit of boondocking on our way. After we leave here, we're going to Simi Valley. And then from there, we're going to head out to Las Vegas and Mesquite. And then there's a great little harvest host along the way. And so I wanted to get the Blue Eddy out to make sure we had power. Well, the Blue Eddy's not working, and I talked to them this morning, and it's stuck in this funny mode where it won't power on, won't power off, won't reset, none of the outputs work, it won't take a charge. You know, is that related to it? I'm sure it isn't. This morning, our battery shunt stopped reading correctly. It kept reading like we were pulling with nothing running off the batteries. We were pulling like 10 amps. and I shut the refrigerator down. I shut everything down without shutting the rig down itself, and it said that we were pulling 10 amps and we're only 88% charged on the batteries. We've been plugged in to shore power really since we've been here, plus our solar. So those are two things that have never happened, well, three things that have never happened to us before. The first one was definitely the park issue. The other two, not so sure. Maybe it's just pure coincidence, and I'm sure it probably was. So, yeah. Is it 1,000 fails or is it 1,000 trails? All in all, this 1,000 Trails location is in a great location. It just needs some TLC. Other than the first couple days, we really enjoyed our stay here exploring the area. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to join our journey, please hit the subscribe button and give us a like, and we'll see you in the next video.